Welcome to qnawire.
Over here we're going to have 21 grams of sodium hydroxide that are going to be added to 0.7 liters or 700 liters of a 1 molar solution of cobalt nitrate, nitrate, NO₃, and we want to know how many grams of cobalt hydroxide are going to be formed following the precipitation reaction of 2 of sodium hydroxide in aqueous medium plus cobalt nitrate, same aqueous medium, that is going to produce cobalt hydroxide as a solid plus 2 of sodium nitrate in aqueous solution. So over here what we want to know essentially is which one is going to be the limiting reagent. So for sodium hydroxide, we know that the molecular weight is going to be equal to 40 grams per mole. So the amount of mole that we're going to have, let's put it down here, the amount of mole of sodium hydroxide will be equal to the mass divided by the molecular weight. So 21 grams divided by 40 grams per mole. This is going to give us 21 over 40, something slightly above of 0.5, which is 0.525 mole of sodium hydroxide. Now, if we want to know how this compares to the cobalt nitrate that we're going to have, we're going to employ the stoichiometric coefficients on our equation. Let me put them in purple to know with how much cobalt nitrate this guy can react. So this can react with, let me put it over here, up to, we're going to multiply this by a factor of 2 mole of sodium hydroxide, corresponds to 1 mole of cobalt nitrate. Cobalt. So we simply need to divide by 2, and this is going to give us that 0.525 moles of sodium hydroxide can react with 0.2625 mole of cobalt nitrate. So now what we're going to have is the calculation for the amount of mole of cobalt nitrate that we're going to have. In this case, we're given the concentration and the volume, so it is going to be directly volume times the concentration. In this case, is 0.7 liters times 1 molar concentration, 1 molar. This is going to give us 0.7 mole. So the limiting reagent is going to be sodium hydroxide, which has 0.525 mole. So now, to know what is going to be the mass of the cobalt hydroxide that is going to be produced, what we're going to do is employ the molecular weight of this compound. So cobalt hydroxide is going to have a molecular weight equal to 92.95 grams per mole. So the amount of mass of cobalt hydroxide that is going to precipitate is going to be equal to, we're going to start with the amount of mole that we have of sodium hydroxide in our solution, 0.525 mole sodium hydroxide. We're going to employ a reaction. Over here we know that 2 mole of sodium hydroxide is going to produce 1 mole of cobalt hydroxide. And we know that 1 mole of cobalt hydroxide is going to have a mass equal to 92.95 grams, coming from the molar mass. So, upon doing these operations, we're going to find that the mass of cobalt hydroxide that will precipitate is equal to 24.399 grams, which is essentially 24.4 grams. So with that, it would be all. Thank you very much and have a good one.